No.
What do you mean, no? That woman was the only reason on Earth for me to tolerate human life!
Then find the one who did the deed.
I don't think that the method that Alucard uses in order to help convince Dracula is exceptionally effective. Dracula's not used to hearing the word no, and especially when you're dealing with someone that's exceptionally black and white, you want to be able to convince them through using logic and strategy and to be able to see the world through their eyes. I think that a much better strategy for Alucard would have been to go in and say, I can understand your pain. And I think that one of the best ways that he could have used if he planned this strategy instead of just kind of going so directly, though Alucard's exceptionally direct, is to be able to say, what would have she wanted? Do we really want to sully her memory? This would have caused her so much pain. She loves you. She would have wanted better. And I'm not sure that that would have actually convinced Dracula, but I think it would have had a better chance instead of making it a head-to-head battle where you're saying no to someone that's in so much pain. Actually, what can happen is they can be more ardent in their belief. When you're trying to convince someone to actually want to change their opinion on something or make them think of something in a different way, you want to start with the same direction that they're going, understand them, validate, and then slowly move them to something that you think might be more rational or less extreme.
There are no innocents! Not anymore! Any one of them could have stood up and said, no, we won't behave like animals anymore.
Dracula, being someone that is powerful, sees that as they could have stopped it, but they didn't want to, versus people were scared. They believed the people in power had true knowledge of God and were frightened of them. And so to empower people to be able to make them better would have been another option. I don't think that he sees it because Dracula is all powerful. And sometimes when you're used to seeing the world through a certain lens, the S word is still really hard, you believe that everyone else sees the world that way as well. It's hard to see the world through other people's point of view.
I won't let you do it. I grieve with you, but I won't let you commit genocide.
Now he's making it a direct confrontation. And remember, this is his son. You better respect me because I am your father. Him making this a direct challenge to Dracula actually makes him feel even more strong in his belief and angry and feel alienated from his son. He has an entire year to be able to convince Dracula to do this differently, which if he had his son at his side, caring, tending to him after this great pain, there would have been a good chance that he would have been able to possibly convince him.
Defeat my father.
Why?
Because it is what my mother would have wanted. And we are all, in the end, slaves to our family's wishes.
Lisa would not have wanted Dracula to have lay waste to an entire city. She also wouldn't have wanted to have her son make this decision to have to kill his father either. I think that she would have hoped that Alucard would have spent the time to be able to try to convince him to see a different way. And then only afterwards, if there was no other option truly, then to have to make that decision in order to stop him in whichever way possible. Especially in family dynamics, it causes us so much pain to see people that we love fight, and often we're powerless to really do something about it. And often we do feel obligated to live through our family's wants and needs. We need to also remember that this is now our life, and it's very important for us to be able to think about what are our wants and our needs. If not, you will end up feeling animosity for living out someone else's dream. And often we don't realize it until it's much later. So especially if you're a caretaker, you want to pause and think about it yourself to say, is this really what I want, or am I only doing this because it will make everyone else happy?
My father,
Dracula?
is a man of science and knows things our society have forgotten 3 times over. Do you still not understand the enormity of what we're doing?
He doesn't hate his father. This is an act that he sees as there is no other choice. Alucard is Dracula flipped backwards. Dracula is all of this raw, primal emotion. Fear, anger, love, whereas Alucard is stoic. He's spent his time trying to be anything but his father. And you have to live underneath that shadow. And for a lot of people that go through that, they do their best to not become the thing that they fear, because that is their worst nightmare. Alucard becomes this very controlled, stoic individual who keeps all of his emotions inside and makes decisions and makes choices, that's better, that makes choices depending on the variables at hand, not the emotions or the things that he would want.
He's gone mad. And from that, there is no recovering him. He's a repository of centuries of learning. He could have changed the world. I think he might have, if Mother hadn't died.
I think so too. I think that he would have seen the bad in people, but also the good in people. It's funny because both Isaac and Alucard speak about Dracula and all of this wealth of knowledge, but both of them have also an emotional connection. But because both of them don't want to share that vulnerability about themselves, they don't say that he also had these wonderful memories with his father and good times that they had together. He was a different person when Lisa was there.
She'd sent him out into the world
She sent him away.
to learn the true nature of humans and how they live.
She was turning him.
I love that Sypha says she was turning him, because there's a lot of discussion of why wouldn't he had turned Lisa into a vampire, but the truth was Lisa was turning him into a human. So I love that she used that term specifically.
Alucard, they called me. The opposite of you. Mother never liked that. She hated the idea that I might define myself by you, even in opposition to you.
I don't think that it was just that Lisa did not like that Alucard was defining himself by Dracula. This was the man that she loved, and for Lisa, it would cause her a lot of pain to know that Adrian, her son, wanted to be the antithesis of his father. How much pain that would cause Vlad if he truly knew it. And I can understand for Adrian living under this huge dark shadow, you want to be something different. But there were also beautiful and good qualities that she was able to see in Vlad. And so I think that she would have hoped that he could embrace those traits also. Though for Adrian, he would not want to say that he has any similar traits to his father, Dracula, he does. He's also very black and white, very strong-minded, stubborn. Once he gets his mind set upon something, it's hard for him to be able to see another way. He's exceptionally rigid. He likes conflict, and he also has all of this bravado and likes to kind of show the power that he controls.
She loved us both. Enough that she wanted us to be our own people. Living our own lives. Making our own choices.
And I don't know that that's true of Lisa either, because she wanted to change Dracula and make him embrace humanity and to be able to walk like a man. And I think that she wanted to have Alucard understand his father better. And I don't think that that's a bad thing for us to want the best in the people that are around us and for wanting them to be better. But also we have to acknowledge that everyone has their own wants and dreams as well.
And so here I am. Choosing to honor my mother by killing my father. No longer Adrian Tepesh.
You see, that's such a black and white decision. He's so rigid. There might have been other options. If he hadn't stayed in the coffin, and he says he was recovering, but his wounds healed really, really quickly when he wants them to, so it might have been more of an emotional wound than it was an actual physical one. Just a thought, which often happens to us.
It's lonely even when you're standing next to him. He's intelligent, sometimes even witty, but it's like he's a cold spot in the room.
I think that Sypha gets this right. In a lot of ways, Alucard is this empty, hollow person, knowing the things that he has to do. He's lost his mother. His father has become so enraptured in dealing with her loss and the retribution that he wants to deal with that he's lost his father also. Alucard has spent his entire life trying to get rid of all of those overly emotional pieces that ended up controlling Dracula, that rage, that anger. But when you cut these emotions out of you, you end up being empty. And now he has to carry this burden of having to go through with killing his father in order to save the world. which for him mathematically makes logical sense, but I think that if he really allowed himself to feel the gravity of that it would be exceptionally overwhelming for him. He carries this stoicism, I think, more as a defense mechanism than who he truly is. When you're around someone that's overly stoic, there's not that much emotional content that feeds back. For other people that are more on the empathic scale can understand and actually feel that. They are absorbent, and so they can catch some of that sadness or emptiness that you might be giving off unconsciously. That doesn't mean that you should hide yourself away if you're feeling sad or upset, but you might want to be able to vocalize it, because sometimes also we think that it might be us. That the reason that you're cold or not feeling that engaged is because you are unhappy with my behavior, because usually we personalize things. So if you're upset, maybe I'll think you're upset at me.
Begin.
To mention, I love these little tiny fan nods for people that have played the games. They have the music and then Alucard changes into a wolf. Like, that's what we want. It kind of are these little tiny nods that you can still enjoy the show if you've never played any of the games, but if you had, unconsciously, you hear the music and makes us feel much more a part of this scene, because this is what we did in the games. I think that that's a really cool way of tying in the video games into the show.
Father.
Son.
And there's no emotion when either of them say this. Neither of them are understanding the gravity of this situation. They've both cut their feelings out so that they can do what they have to do.
Your war is over.
Because you say so.
You see, it's again, he feels undermined. The way that Alucard goes about this, he's undermining him. And that feeling of disrespect, especially to be someone like Dracula and have your own son disrespect you, is so infuriating to him. He's making the situation worse than it has to be.
It ends.
So finite, that's so rigid. That's something that Dracula would say. They have the same trait. And often when we have the same trait as someone else, we bang heads, right? Because what we're both really, really strong-minded or stubborn or very type A or perfectionistic and see things only one way. So it's often nice to have someone that might be more of a feeler or flexible to be with, so that we can kind of wrap our minds around it instead of constantly butting heads. He tried so hard to be different than his dad, but in a lot of these ways, he's exactly the same. And they both decide to use violence. Just gonna say, like, there's other ways.
In the name of my mother.
It endures in the name of your mother.
And yet they both use Lisa as the reason that they're gonna fight, which she would hate. Like, really, if they cared, she would want them to use any other way but this. There was no way. And they're both like, oh, this is for your mother. And, oh, no, this is for your mother. No, neither of these decisions she would want you to do. And unless for Adrian, it was the absolute last resort. And you've tried every single thing first. He goes to the nth degree right away, just like his dad.
I won't let you do it. I grieve with you.
Could have started with that, I'm just saying.
But I won't let you commit genocide.
You couldn't stop me before.
I was alone before.
Don't think it's gonna be that helpful. Not only has he many chances to kill his son, but he also doesn't kill Sypha or Trevor, which he completely could have. He knocks them away, though really it only takes him one swipe of his claws to be able to kill someone. When people are upset or frustrated, they're gonna go to their base instinct, the thing that just happens naturally to him. And for Dracula, that is to just kill people. He's done it to many people, and he does it effortlessly. It took more of a mental process, even though he's frustrated and upset and he's not thinking clearly, to be able to attack Sypha and Trevor and not kill them. And for Dracula to be able to do that, he can kill people just by throwing them in a wall. I don't think that he didn't kill Trevor or Sypha by mistake. I truly do think that it was an unconscious choice, that he knows that these are the people that his son came with. And the same reason why he fights his son and could damage him very easily, but he doesn't. So you have to ask that question. Whenever someone does something that is different than their natural pattern, there is a reason for it. For Dracula, for someone that is this primal, to be able to overcome his base instincts shows that mental strength and care and love that really is underlying the surface. You might disagree with me, and if you do, you can put it in the comments below.
You mean to stake me?
You want me to. You didn't kill me before. You're not going to kill me now. You died when my mother died. You know you did.
And I can really understand that feeling. How hard it is to be able to kind of have to go on without the person that you love there with you. And especially for Dracula, the person that allowed him to truly live. And then for Alucard to have to kind of watch the loss of both parents.
My boy.
For Dracula, being back in his little boy's room kind of brought back all of the memories, those times. Also, the smell. Our sense of smell is right next to our emotional center. So often it's a smell that can bring us back to a time and a space. And so it brings back his memory. It wiped away the grief to be able to go back to a time and space where things were different. A lot of times for healing, that's what we'll do therapeutically, especially if we're doing couples work or pain among families. We'll bring you back to another time so you can remember the things that you loved about someone else, and to know that you are not on opposing teams, that we're both on the same team fighting for the same thing. And if you can do that, often that love can be very healing to all of the pain or the hurt that you might have.
Lisa, I'm killing our boy. We painted this room. We made these toys. It's our boy, Lisa.
And remembering for him that this was the greatest thing that they shared together. This was the thing that they created with each other. This is his part of Lisa that he still gets to keep. And he's fighting for her, but he's forgetting that the one thing that she would want him to protect the most was her son, their son.
Your greatest gift to me. And I'm killing him.
And sometimes we lose sight of the things that really matter when we're dealing with really intense emotions. And it doesn't just have to be grief. Anger is very similar to this also. Or even greed, or the want for success, or the things that society tells us is important. When we look back on our life, we're not going to be saying that we wish that we had more money or a faster car. It's all about the people that we care about and the time that we got to spend with them. Dracula in this moment has that clarity of thought to remember the things that are actually important to him. He painted this room also. He loved his boy also. And Alucard is a part of Lisa, which sometimes can be really difficult. Sometimes we push away something because they remind us too much of the thing that we lost. And Dracula might have done that as well, unconsciously.
I must already be dead. Son.
Father.
That's a much different son and father than the one they first shared. This one has that emotion and gravity of what's happening. And Dracula allowing his son to kill him, coming to the resolution that he probably always wanted, which was to be back with Lisa. Though she would have wanted him to be with his son and help raise him and support him and to do some good with all of this wonderful knowledge that he has. If you are feeling really destitute or suicidal or depressed, please reach out for help. There really is help, and the world isn't that black and white, and often it's because of the amount of pain that we're in that we want to find another solution, and there really are solutions that work. So put in some links for numbers that you can call if you're feeling depressed and need to reach out for help. Alucard had the knowledge of the ages at his fingertips. Lucky for you that there is no need to head to battle at Dracula's castle, though you may want to. You just have to head on over to today's sponsor, Brilliant.org, to learn any new skill and get you prepared for whatever life or castles have to throw at you. And Brilliant has some wonderful new courses. Brilliant makes college-level courses available to everyone, and each course is designed for high-velocity learning to help you stay focused and reach your goals fast. Brilliant makes learning like a game. It's fun, and it has features that let you challenge yourself and compete with others. And all with helpful explanations along the way, so you're never left guessing. And Brilliant has thousands of courses, from foundational and advanced math to AI, data science, neural networks, and more, with new lessons added monthly. I've so far covered their courses on algebra, logic, geometry, and I found all of them really engaging. Even if you don't enjoy doing these subjects, Brilliant makes them fun. And to try everything that Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, just head on over to brilliant.org/Georgia Dow or click on the link in the description. The first 200 people will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. So just click on the screen or head on over to brilliant.org/Georgia Dow. Clicking on that button really does help out this channel, so thanks to Brilliant, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. So this is a little bit about my thoughts on Alucard and him having to make this decision. You can let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.